5-MeO DMT. What is it? It's a drug. No, it's a very powerful medicine. It is produced in your brains when you die. And I think it also is produced in your brains when you're born. So yeah, it's a natural substance. It is something that will change your life if you ever experience it. It will bring something to your awareness that you've never been aware of, and it'll change your life forever. You can find it on the back of toads. And not just any toad, you will find it on the back of a Colorado river toad, or AKA the Bufo Alvarius toad. It's the same toad with different names. You can find them in the lower parts of Arizona and in Mexico, and you can find it's also in yopo, which is a plant that I think you can find in Venezuela. But this substance, if ingested, whether you smoke it or have a synthetic version or a lab-made version, you can sniff it. But I took the natural, all-natural poison from the Bufo Alvarius toad. I did it with a shaman named Dr. Gerry. My ceremony was led by Dr. G. You can look him up on YouTube. He's actually done interviews with Mike Tyson on his Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast. That's what kind of sold me. I had known about Dr. Gerry for maybe a year before I saw the interview, and I was going to attend the ceremony in Chicago, but I was unable to make it, and I was kind of bummed out about it. And if I had another opportunity, I told myself that I would do it. So just before I actually get into the experience, I just want to let everybody know that I'm okay. I have taken the medicine and I'm fine. So just make sure that you don't look at this as something that will kill you or something that would alter your mind in such a way where you're injured or hurt you. The only deaths that I've heard of from this medicine are people who might have been doing it close to water and they drowned while they were tripping, or they drowned on their own vomit. But those are reasons why you need a shaman with you. Those are reasons why when you do this medicine, you don't want to do it by yourself. Don't worry, because you probably won't be able to find this medicine. So if you do find it, you're going to be surrounded by people who know how to handle the medicine or know how to chaperone you through this and guide you through this experience. A lot of people was asking me, what does it do? It sends your consciousness to God. It sends it into a void where there is nothing but everything, if that makes sense. All things exist within this realm of source, right? Within consciousness, within whatever God created. Everything that we can imagine is within the parameters of what God has created, correct? So you step outside of what God has created and you become the creator. You become aware of all there is. It's hard to explain, and so as a little disclaimer, I want to let you know that anything I tell you, please take it as a grain of salt, or for a grain of salt, or take it like a grain of salt. It's one of those. Just don't listen to the point where you believe me, because I don't need believers. I need people who are going to actually experience this for themselves. People who are literally going to carry their own cross and they're going to die in the flesh and be reborn again. That's what this medicine does. I can tell you one thing, that I feel so more at peace. I understand better, if that makes sense. There's this peaceful tone that is happening right now for me. I'm constantly being reminded of it throughout my day, which is a good thing, because since the medicine, I haven't gotten anxious. I feel connected. I feel connected with all things. I have this physical thing happening as well, where it's more so like this vibration, and it's like it's not vibrating slow either. It's very fast, and so it's like it's lifting everything that I am. Like I can feel like this energy, so to speak. Without sounding hippie, I feel this energy, this vibration that is resonating constantly throughout my day. And it helps me remind myself that I'm in this state. I have this level of bliss this constant bliss. It's amazing. In the past, there are people that have been recorded to actually be healed of their bipolarness, their schizophrenia. Any mental issues you may have could kind of be put to the forefront when you're on this medicine. It helps you understand the things that your body is going through, your mind is going through. Because a lot of times what happens is that we fight it. We fight what we're going through, and it causes the suffering, it causes the problems. And this medicine helps you not fight it. So just to kind of go through the experience a little bit, at the beginning, you know, I was already in a meditative state. I had gotten there a little bit earlier, had sat and meditated in the car right before going in to do the medicine and meeting Dr. G. I hadn't met him before then. I had emailed him and I have his number now, but I hadn't really met him and had a conversation. I was just sitting there in the car meditating, and I decided that it was time for me to go in. I tried to call him, but he didn't answer. And then I looked across the way and I saw him actually kind of pacing, kind of putting himself in the zone of what he's about to do. I saw him kind of like praying to God. So this was before he even knew that I was out there. He was just walking and he was like praying. I decided to get out of the car. I started walking toward him and I saw him on the street and I said, "Dr. Gerry?" He looked at me, he was like, "Hey," you know, he wasn't like smiling or even sad. It was more so, "Hey, like you're here." And I shook his hand. We started to walk back towards the room where we were going to do the medicine. I was excited because one, I was faced with 5-MeO DMT. It was in my presence. The one thing that I had been searching for, the one thing that I had been doing countless number of Google searches and countless thoughts on how and when I'm going to be able to take this medicine, and then actually traveling to a spot to actually take this medicine. I was kind of fanboying out, you know, for myself, because it was just something that I wanted to do in life, and I was about to do it. I was in the presence of it. Not only that, but it was official when I saw Dr. Gerry, because I had seen him and done research on him, watching Dr. Gerry doing interviews with Mike Tyson and performing these ceremonies across the world. It was exciting. So I started asking him questions, just talking to him, you know, and sharing a lot of the experience that I had prior to coming with my mom and my wife not being in on it. It was getting exciting, honestly. So I realized that my energy was more up and his energy was more so. He was very relaxed and he was praying. I saw him praying before he taking the medicine, preparing everything, getting the pipe out and laying the blankets down. And then when I told him, you know, I was just telling him like, you know, what I wanted to get out of it and what I, you know, was looking for out of this. And he said, like I've heard him say in other interviews and in other ceremonies, that, you know, the medicine already knows and that all you got to do is let go. And so that's what, right after he said that, I kind of shut up. I kind of stopped being so excited and got in the zone of taking this medicine. I went back to my meditative state that I was in before I actually met him, and it became this very surreal environment. The music was already playing. I was clearing my mind, focusing on my breathing, and he brought me over to the blankets. And that's where in the video you can see I get on my knees, and then he shows me, you know, how to lay or how to sit so I can, when I lay back, I can fall right on the pillow. And and so, you know, I was in the zone. I was ready. I was focused. I did in that moment think like, wow, I think the camera's not on me. I think I'm off the camera right now. So I was thinking about that. But then I cleared my mind when he grabbed my hand and started to pray. I just kind of started to focus on what he was saying, you know, and made myself present, not thinking about anything else, any fears, the camera, what I'll do after, you know, anything before. I was literally being present, focusing on the words that he was saying. And when he brought the pipe out, he gave it to me. I remember putting it into my mouth, and one of the thoughts that did come to my mind is like, I've come this far, and I would hate for this to not work. So I want to make sure that I had already planned that I was going to suck it all up, all the way up, get as much as I can home, just so I can just, get past this. Really, it's like everything that we want out of life kind of stays stuck in our head until we do it. And so this had been one of those things that had been stuck in my head for so long. And I was now faced with doing it. I wasn't afraid. So what I did is that when he lit that pipe and told me to smoke, because first he told me to blow out all my energy, blow out all my air. He asked me to, turn my head and blow out all the air in my lungs. I did that, and then he said suck. So I sucked. He told me to slow down, and it was, I don't know. I don't know if the come up was very quick, because what happened is after he told me to hold my mouth, I was gone. I wasn't there holding my mouth anymore. I wasn't experiencing what you saw on the camera. Honestly, a lot of that I don't remember. After number 3, after he counted down from 5, 4, 3, I was gone, because I didn't hear lay back, because I would have laid back. I didn't hear that. I was gone. And next thing I remember is I felt like I was like sitting up on my knees, and that even though I wasn't, the video shows I was like laying on my stomach. I think I was laying on my stomach or my side. Yeah, I was like laying on a pillow on my side or something like that. And so I became aware that I was doing that. And all I remember is Dr. G saying, lay back, and open up, surrender. And so that's when I laid on my back. But by then I was back. I was back in my body. I was back conscious to what was happening. And honestly, it felt like I was only gone for like 3 minutes, 3 to 10 minutes, maybe no more than 10 minutes. And he told me he clocked me out at like 27 minutes. So it was wild. I encourage almost everybody to take this medicine. If you have any medical issues, make sure you consult your doctors. Make sure you let them know what you're planning on doing. It is a very powerful experience, and it will change your life. I do plan on doing it at least another time, kind of gathering more of my thoughts. One of the main things that stuck out for me, that when I watched it for the first time, I cried, was when I was saying, mama, 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 mama. I felt like I sounded like I was like 5. Like that's how I talked when I was young. And I said, can we do it? Can we do? Let me do. I said, can we create? I'm not here to judge what I meant by that. For me to say that, out of all the things I said or didn't say, it was very powerful and profound for me. So I do recommend you to take this medicine. You'll probably have to hit up Dr. G. If you are a Christian, and if you ever wanted to die for Jesus and be reborn for Jesus, if you ever wanted to just surrender to God, let go and let God, if you ever wanted to truly understand what you're being taught in churches, if you want to understand it, if you want to experience it and not be a believer, if you want to be it instead of talk about it, then you should take this medicine.